Once hailed as Disney's rising star, Rachel Zegler's future with the studio now hangs by a thread after a string of PR disasters, including Snow White's catastrophic $270 million box office flop, leaving Disney reportedly washing its hands of her. Have you ever seen a career unravel this fast over one movie? If you want the truth behind Hollywood's biggest flop and what Disney might do next, hit that subscribe button and don't miss what they won't tell you in the headlines.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Famed is thy beauty, majesty, but the lovely maiden I now behold.
Tell us a little bit about your version of Snow White.
Yeah, I mean, Snow White is the girl you remember, but she's definitely made for the modern age, and there's such an emphasis on what it really means to be the fairest of them all. And for Snow White, it's coming to terms with finding herself and finding her inner voice and finding a sense of agency so that she can be a just ruler and a wonderful queen, because there's another one in town.
The financial figures speak volumes. Snow White's box office opening was a disaster. The film grossed a paltry $171.1 million worldwide against a $270 million production budget, marking one of the worst performances for a Disney live-action remake. To make matters worse, the film barely made a dent in international markets, including China, where it earned less than $1 million, a crushing blow to any global release.
I'm a narcissist. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Disney had hoped the remake would be a box office smash, expecting to tap into the nostalgia of audiences who loved the original animated film. Instead, the film became a cautionary tale about the dangers of overreaching and alienating fans.
1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the
Critics have been largely unfavourable, with The Guardian labelling it an exhaustingly awful reboot, and The Times describing it as a new low for cultural desecration. The portrayal of the Seven Dwarfs using CGI has also drawn criticism, with some finding the characters unsettling.
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the...
Audience reactions mirror these sentiments, as evidenced by a 47% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Many viewers felt the film lacked a cohesive plot and depth, with one remarking that it was decent but not memorable. In summary, Disney's ambitious attempt to modernize a classic fairy tale has encountered significant hurdles, resulting in both critical disappointment and financial underperformance.
True love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearful.
While Snow White was already struggling, it wasn't just the film's writing and direction that caused the controversy. Rachel Zegler, who starred as the title character, found herself at the centre of a PR nightmare after some of her comments about the original film went viral, and not in a good way.
For a film at the time, it was also a massive feat to be accomplished of a feature-length film that people wanted.
Instead of celebrating the magic of Disney's 1937 animated classic, Zegler threw shade at it, calling the original Snow White weird and outdated.
Atlanta, and my closet was soundproof in my building, and so I called my vocal coach Joan later.
But it didn't stop there. Zegler also publicly criticised the original love story in Snow White, which she described as creepy and unnecessary. She even mocked the prince, claiming that he was a stalker and should be cut from the film entirely. Now, this was a bold move for an actress starring in a remake of a film where her character's entire storyline revolves around the romance with that very prince.
But it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
Disney's live-action remake of Snow White has encountered significant backlash, particularly following lead actress Rachel Zegler's comments in a 2022 interview. Zegler remarked on the original prince's pursuit of Snow White, stating, "There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. She further emphasized that this version would focus on Snow White's journey to leadership. It's really not about the love story at all.
Days of the year, this and SantaCon, that I don't go out.
Oh, because you're scared? Oh.
Well, it gets very rowdy.
She emphasized how her version of Snow White was going to be a feminist reimagining, rejecting the notion of needing a prince to rescue her, and instead focusing on Snow White's journey to leadership.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part. That people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
Not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Fans, however, didn't see this as a refreshing update. They saw it as an attack on a beloved childhood memory. One Twitter user wrote, "There is absolutely no way that I am ever going to watch this garbage." Others echoed the sentiment, claiming that Hollywood was going too far with its push for wokeness, and Disney was ruining yet another classic tale in the name of modern sensibilities.
And very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story.
The criticism didn't end there. Zegler's comments triggered a domino effect, as others involved with the film, including Peter Dinklage, who had previously expressed concerns about the portrayal of dwarfs, also raised their voices against Disney's approach. Dinklage criticised the studio for including dwarfs in the movie at all, calling it offensive. In response, Disney made the controversial decision to replace the dwarfs with CGI creatures. Zegler, of course, praised the decision as progressive, but to many fans, it felt like a misguided attempt to fix something that wasn't broken.
With all of these Disney things, it's like the Marvel, Star Wars, Disney live actions. You have no idea what you're reading. It'll say like untitled Disney live action film, and the sides will have different names. It'll say like Amber and Jeff. And so I was reading for Amber, an untitled Disney live action. And it wasn't until I had that first read with Mark Webb on Zoom that he had let it slip that I was actually conversing with Dopey.
Oh, well, that's a...
Things took an even more dramatic turn when Jonah Platt, son of Snow White producer Mark Platt, publicly criticised lead actress Rachel Zegler for the film's underperformance at the box office. In a now-deleted Instagram post, Jonah accused Zegler of being narcissistic and immature for her political social media posts, which he claimed harmed the movie's success.
She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. It's really not about the love story.
He stated, "You really want to do this?" Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie, for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. He further emphasized, tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful.
Guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. There's going to be so many stories that come from the set about how difficult I am to work with.
Zegler's political statements, including a Free Palestine post and critical remarks about Donald Trump, reportedly led Disney to intervene, with Mark Platt personally addressing the situation. The controversy surrounding her social media activity and its perceived impact on the film's reception has sparked significant discussion within the industry.
I'm sorry, my dear.
Disney has reportedly decided to part ways with Rachel Zegler following her controversial remarks and the underperformance of Snow White. Sources indicate that the studio is considering announcing her departure from future projects as early as Christmas Day. An insider stated, "They would love to be able to tell her to stop talking, but it is simply too late."
It became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part. But it was very sweet, and it was very short.
While Zegler's representatives have denied rumors of her firing, Disney's actions suggest a shift in their approach to the actress. A branding expert noted, Disney execs and those who are supporting the film are now scared that a huge audience will steer clear from the film as their own boycott, costing the film tons of money. These developments indicate that Disney is distancing itself from Zegler, possibly to mitigate further controversy and protect the brand's image.
Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White Scary.
As if the box office numbers weren't enough, social media has been unforgiving to Zegler. The trailer for Snow White accumulated millions of dislikes on YouTube, and countless memes mocking Zegler flooded the internet. Fans have created viral edits of her interviews, with captions like, "How to ruin a movie franchise in 10 seconds or less." Zegler has become the poster child for Hollywood misfires, and at this point, when her name appears on a movie poster, it's often seen as a red flag.
Adventures doesn't sound like something a little kid would like, was terrified of it, never revisited Snow White.
So, what's next for Rachel Zegler? Hollywood is a tough town, and at the moment, it seems like her star has dimmed significantly. After a string of flops like West Side Story and Shazam, Fury of the Gods, both of which failed to generate much buzz, Zegler is now facing her biggest challenge yet.
In the clothes, you can see the character evolves with all the costumes.
Industry insiders are reportedly steering clear of her, with one unnamed studio executive stating, "It's not just her numbers, it's the baggage she brings." At this point, Zegler is viewed as a liability more than an asset.
See it. We were not allowed to watch. We had to stand on our spot backstage. So it sounded like they really liked it, which is really, really exciting. I saw the
That said, some still see potential in Zegler. Could a career pivot be in the cards? A Broadway comeback? A stint on Dancing with the Stars? Or perhaps a dramatic apology and redemption arc? Whatever happens, Zegler's journey in Hollywood is far from over, but she'll need to do some serious soul-searching if she wants to bounce back from this.
37, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story.
Rachel Zegler's fall from grace is a reminder of the high stakes in Hollywood. Talent alone isn't enough. Likeability, humility, and a sense of respect for the audience are equally important. Zegler may have entered the industry as Hollywood's next big thing, but now she's learning a hard lesson. Never bite the hand that casts you, and never underestimate the power of nostalgia.
With a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no.
At the end of the day, Zegler's story is one of missed opportunities and shattered dreams. It's not just about a box office failure. It's about the price of alienating your audience, disrespecting a beloved franchise, and failing to manage public perception.
A guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. But it's one of those things.
So true,
it's
yeah.
an inner journey that she goes on to find her true self, and she meets a lot of people along the way that make the journey really incredible.
What do you think? Was Disney right to distance itself from Zegler? Or is this an unfair move? Would you still watch a movie starring Rachel Zegler in the future? Or has she been cancelled in your eyes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe for more Hollywood drama.